Hello everyone, I'm Timmy Kokke, better known as Sorskoot. I work as a mixed reality developer at Velicus during the day, saving lives with holograms, but at night, when my whole family sleeps, I build my own VR games, mainly using Wonderland, Blender and some other tools. In my latest game, Get Off My Lawn, I create a special Skydome, giving the illusion of a much bigger world than there actually is. In the next couple of minutes, I want to show you how you can create a similar effect. We're going to start in Blender, where we'll be using an example scene from the pack I used to build the game and render a special kind of image, an equi-rectangular image to map on the inside of a sphere. And then we use that inside of Wonderland Engine as the background of our game. I removed everything that was below the horizon, everything that is not going to show up in the video or in the game anyways, everything that's inside buildings. I removed it basically for reducing the render times. By default, there is no background in the renderings in Blender. I wanted to have a clear sky. To add one, you have to go to World Properties and add a sky texture by clicking on the yellow dot next to color and select sky texture from the list. Make sure the type is set to Nishita for the best result. To make sure we can see all the changes we are making to the settings of the sky texture, we need to set the viewport shading to render preview. We're going to start by changing the ozone value of the sky. Changing them makes the sky look better or worse, so let's change this ozone value to 5. Now let's see what's happening when we change the dust value. I think this should be a very low value. Let's just change this to 0.35. That's better. Last one, the air value. Let's see what's happening. Well, 10 gives a nice effect, but it's not what we need, so let's figure out a little bit. 0 looks a bit like night. No air. Let's set this to 0.45. Yeah, I think this looks okay. Let's have a look around. Where's the sun? There's the sun. The sun is very, very little. Very tiny. So let's make it a little bit bigger. I think 3.5 is a nice value to use. There we go. Now I think the sun is set a little bit too low. Let's move it a little bit higher in the sky. Set it to 60 degrees. Yeah, I think that's a nice height. Now I want this to be a little bit more near the mountains, so let's just see if we can change this value a little bit. You know what? Just set it to minus. There we go. I think this looks great. Now that we have our sky, let's add a camera. Just hit Shift A and select camera. I'm going to move this a little bit. I'm almost mixing the axes up. So now we have a camera. If we hit F12 to render this camera, you can see that it's not something we could map on the inside of a sphere. We need to transform this into a 360 image, an equi-rectangular image. To do that, let's go to the camera settings and change the type to panoramic. Equi-rectangular, yeah, there we go. And that's all the settings we need basically. Now just hit F12 to render. And as you can see, it's rendering a nice 360 image of our entire scene. Now if we would use this image directly, we would get a very, very low res image, just because we don't have enough pixels on the image. So let's fix that. Let's just go to the render settings and change the resolution. 4096. There we go. I think the rest is okay. Now let's hit F12 to render the complete equi-rectangular image. Now with the magic of editing, we can skip pretty much the entire rendering process. And there it is. Now let's save the image so we can use it in the next step. Let's call it Skydome and save it. To create the dome part of the Skydome, I've created a new scene in Blender. I'm going to delete everything and create a brand new sphere. You can see it's nice and round. I'm scaling it up to 100 meter radius. There's nothing in my scene that will be outside of that, so 100 meter radius is fine. Next, we're going to add a material for our sphere. Just creating a new material. I'm going to add image texture. There we go. Let's open the image of the Skydome and connect the dots. And there we have our Skydome mapped on the sphere. But it's on the outside and we need to have the inside. Therefore, we need to flip the normals of every face. Now there's a little trick to make them visible, or the orientation of the face visible. Go to the view settings, you can set the face orientation to visible. Now everything is blue and we want them to be red on the outside. If they're red, we're seeing the opposite side. We're going to into edit mode to select all faces. We're going to hit Alt N and select flip. And now the sphere is red, which means we see the faces from the back side. Let's turn this off again. Now nothing seemed to have changed, but we're looking at the inside of the sphere now. Now we need to export this to an FBX file. There we go. Save it. Skydome. And hit. Oh, let's apply all the transforms and hit export. There we go. Now let's open this in Wonderland to see how it looks over there. Inside Wonderland, I'm going to create a new VR project. And I'm going to the models folder. I'm just going to drag and drop the FBX and the PNG file we created into the models folder. Now to get the Skydome into the scene, I'm just dragging it to the root. There we go. Now we need to reset the scaling to make it perfect. There we go. Now it's a sphere of a 100-meter radius inside our scene. Now to make it not affected by lightning, we need to change the pipeline to flat opaque texture. Now there is this sphere in the middle, and that's because the far is just a little bit out of range. So let's set the far clipping plane of the camera in the editor to 150 and do the same for all the other cameras as well. So we're going to the non-VR camera, set that to 150. Set the left eye to 150 and set the right eye to 150 as well. So now it's all fine. So let's just see if it runs in the browser. There we go. This looks nice. Now you might notice there is some stripes and artifacts everywhere. Let's close these. And that's because of the compression. Now this is not the most effective way of doing this, but it works. I'm just going to disable the compression for now. And that should get rid of all the weird compression artifacts. Let's restart it. As you can see, it is way smoother now. Let's just check it out in VR. I'm here in my VR headset, in my Quest headset, and it looks amazing. It's pretty performant. I can walk around, just teleporting around in the default scene. And the weird thing is, it looks like there's actual geometry everywhere. And that's all I have for you today. I will be releasing a written version of this tutorial as well. So make sure you look me up on YouTube or on Twitter. Just search for Sorskoot and I'm pretty sure you can find me. If you have any questions, I'm always hanging out in the Wonderland Discord as well. So look me up there. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!